will start a new lesson, a short story, The Umbrella Man. By Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl is the author of this particular lesson. Well, you might not be knowing him, but you might have seen the pictures that were taken on his books. Okay, he's a famous author. He's from Britain. Okay, he studied in Wales. He was born in Wales, Cardiff, that is in London. Okay, not London, Britain area. So he was actually a Norwegian, but he wrote a lot on children literature, a lot of children's stories, and his stories are filled with fantasy. You know, for fantasy, imagination, creativity, and all that. Your animation is filled with fantasy because that's not real. It's imaginative, and yet it calms your mind down, right? All those fantasies, it takes you to a different world. So his stories are such kind where he writes a lot of children's stories, which has a lot of fantasy in it. He actually worked in the British Air Force, and he also worked as a spy, and then later on he started writing. Okay, you must have seen one of the movies which was taken on his book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. How many of you all have seen this movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Have you all seen this? Oh, Bhavna has seen it. Okay. If you haven't seen, go and see. I want you all to go and see the movie today. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Witches, Matilda. So many movies like on his books. The BGM also. BGM, I think that's recently released. Yeah, so many people. Okay, you all have seen that. So did you see? So when you have seen the movie, did you find the kind of imaginative world he takes into, the kind of fantasy, the kind of creativity it has, right? It takes you into a whole new world. So that is why he was a very famous story writer for children. So today we'll read one of his stories, The Umbrella Man. Okay, are you all up for it? It's a nice story where you can learn something out of it because you can actually take away a few things. Okay, this is about a small girl who narrates this story. She's of 12 years old, and her mother. They went to a dentist, and then they went to a coffee shop, and by the time they came out, it was already 6 in the evening. Okay, and they did not. It was all raining. They couldn't go home. It was raining heavily. They were standing in the pavement waiting for a taxi. And suddenly there is this old man who appears and tells the mother and the child that, I'm very old, I want to go back, I want 1 pound. 1 pound. Pound is the currency of Britain, British, okay? So he says that, give me 1 pound and I will go back home. So this mother was like, oh, he must be a beggar who is trying to cheat, trying to cheat and take that money. So he says that, no, I have a silk umbrella with me. You take this umbrella and give me 1 pound more. This umbrella costs 20 pounds, but I'm just giving it to you for 1 pound because I desperately need this 1 pound to go in a taxi back to work. Initially, the mother did not believe in him, but later on, she believed and gave the 1 pound note. She took the silk umbrella and started. And then they saw this old man running across the street, almost like briskly walking. He wasn't taking a taxi. He was just navigating across the street. And then these people thought of, chasing him. They went back chasing him, and he went all the way into the city, and he went inside a pub where he drank a glass of whiskey with that £1 which the mother gave. Okay. He took another umbrella from the coat rack where you normally, when you enter a place, a pub or something, you actually put your coats, hats, and umbrellas, everything in a shelf, and then you enter it because it's already raining. You don't want to make the whole place wet. So he put that there. He put his coat and hat there. He went into the pub, drank the glass of whiskey, came out with another umbrella. That means he has taken somebody else's umbrella from that place and he went out to some other place to do that bargain. So here, don't you understand the kind of tricksters people can be? Beggars also, they come in different forms. They tend to trick you. Some say they have cancer, some say their child is not able to eat and whatnot. Like so many ways of thinking. Okay, so those are the things that are covered in this particular lesson. We'll go through the lesson, but before that, I want you all to open your PDFs, read along with me, because that will help you improve your pronunciation, comprehension, and you can also judge yourself as to how much you could comprehend whatever was read. Okay, fine. Is that okay? Okay, good. So we'll read to the lesson, the story. I'm going to tell you about a funny thing that happened to my mother and me yesterday evening. I hope you all have your PDFs open because I'm going to start. Yeah, I'm going to start. Okay. I'm going to tell you about a funny thing that happened to my mother and me yesterday evening. I am 12 years old and I am a girl. So this particular story is narrated by this 12-year-old girl. My mother is 34, but I am nearly as tall as she already. So she says that I'm just 12 years, my mother is 34, but I'm already as tall as my mother. Yesterday afternoon, my mother took me up to London to see the dentist. He found one hole. It was in the back tooth and he filled it without hurting me too much. After that, we went to a cafe. I had a banana split and my mother had a cup of coffee. By the time we got up to leave, it was about 6 o'clock. So they went to a dentist. He filled the hole in the, daughter, the child's tooth, and then they went to a cave. This small kid had what? A banana split and mother had a coffee. By the time they came out of the cave, it was already 6 in the evening and it was raining heavily. Okay. When we came out of the cave, it had started to rain. We must get a taxi, my mother said. We were wearing ordinary hats and coats and it was raining quite hard. They did not have anything to protect themselves. They just were wearing ordinary hats and coats and hats. Why don't we go back into the cave and wait for it to stop? I said. I wanted another of those banana splits. They were gorgeous. Okay, so she says, the 12-year-old girl says that, Mommy, we'll go inside the cave and sit there till the rain stops. Okay, and what she was thinking, she thought that, okay, if I go into the cave, I can also eat one more banana split. It isn't going to stop, my mother said. My mother said, we must get home. We stood on the pavement in the rain looking for a taxi. Lots of them came by, but they all had passengers inside them. I wish we had a car with a chauffeur, my mother said. Chauffeur is a driver. Generally, drivers with, for rich people are known as chauffeurs. Okay? So mother is saying, I wish I had a chauffeur so that that means like, why should we pay in train like this? I wish I had a chauffeur. Just then a man came up to us. He was a small man and he was pretty old, probably 70 or more. He raised his hat politely and said to my mother, excuse me, I do hope you will excuse me. He had a fine white moustache and a bushy white eyebrows and a brilliantly pink face. So here they're describing the man who came up to them. Who was this? The old man who came up to them was, full of white mustache, white eyebrows, and pink face. Okay? He was sheltering under an umbrella which he held high over his head. So he was under an umbrella. So he says, he comes to them and says, could you excuse me? Okay. So the mother said, yes, my mother said, very cool and distant. I wonder if I could ask a small favor of you, he said. It is only a very small favor. I saw my mother looking at him suspiciously. She is a suspicious person, my mother. She is especially suspicious of two things, strange men and boiled eggs. So this mother is very suspicious of two things. Strange men means people you do not know, strangers, okay? Strange men and boiled eggs. When she cuts out the top of a boiled egg, she pokes around inside it with a spoon as though expecting to find a mouse or something. So like she's just trying to make fun of her mother, saying that when she takes out the covering of the boiled egg, she pokes it with a spoon just to see that it is boiled or not. Okay. And she's scared. Like this 20-year-old girl says that, or probably she's expecting a mouse inside that. So, and the second thing she is suspicious of is strange men. She has a golden rule which says the nicer the man seems to be, the more suspicious you must become. So, the second thing she is more suspicious of is strange people. So this girl says that the golden rule which the mother follows is that the more nice the person is, the more suspicious you should become. Okay. The little old man was particularly nice. He was polite, he was well spoken, he was well dressed. He was a real gentleman. So this 12-year-old girl observes the little old man and says that he was well spoken, the way he spoke was good, the way he dressed was good, and he looked like a gentleman. The reason I knew he was a gentleman was because of his shoes. You can always spot a gentleman by the shoes he wears. Was another of my mother's favorite sayings. This man had beautiful brown shoes. So the mother used to say things that you can guess what kind of a person he is by looking at their shoes. So when the girl looked at the old man's shoes, she found out that those brown shoes were very good to see. Okay, so she just concluded that this old man is a gentleman. Right? The truth of the matter is the little man was saying. So this man was speaking. I've got myself into a bit of a scrape. I need some help. Not much, I assure you. It's almost nothing. In fact, but I do need it. You see, madam, old people like me often become terribly forgetful. My mother's chin was up and she was staring down at him along the full length of her nose. So this man started speaking. So he was telling that, see, old people like me, they're very forgetful and all. So he started a conversation with the mother. And now the mother's chin went up. So she was like this, what is going on? What is he trying to say? My mother's chin was up and she was staring down at him along the full length of her nose. It was a fearsome thing. This frosty nose stare of my mother's. Most people go to pieces completely when she gives it to them. So this kind of looks that the mother gives is very scary, is what the girl is saying. Okay, those looks are very scary, and when she sees that way, everybody gets scared of those looks. I once saw my mother, my own headmistress, begin to stammer and simper like an idiot when my mother gave her a really foul, frosty noser. But the little man on the pavement with the umbrella over his head did not bat an eyelid. Bat an eyelid means he didn't even close an eyelid for that particular stare which the mother gave. He gave a gentle smile and said, I beg you to believe, madam, that I am not in the habit of stopping ladies in the street and telling them about my troubles. He says that when the mother was giving this stare, this little girl says that this particular stare fears people out, and her headmistress also, after looking at her mother with that stare, she started to stammer and simper like an idiot. That means she started to, stammer when she looked at the mother's that particular stare. Okay, so she's just this little girl is talking about the kind of stare her mother has, which makes people fear her. Okay. So this particular, but she says that this old man did not even blink his eye. Okay, he was not scared of that particular stare of the mother. So now, this old man says, I beg you to believe, madam, that I am not in the habit of stopping ladies in the street and telling my troubles. I should hope not, my mother said. I felt quite embarrassed by my mother's sharpness. Embarrassed is feeling shy by the kind of sharpness or the crude way she was talking to that old person. I wanted to say to her, "Oh, mummy, for heaven's sake, he's a very, very old man and sweet and polite, and he's in some sort of trouble. So don't be so beastly to him." But I didn't say anything. She wanted to say this that he's a very old man. Please don't be so crude and be so not very polite to him. Talk to him nicely. That is what this little girl wanted to say, but she couldn't say that. The little man shifted his umbrella from one hand to the other. "I've never forgotten it before," he said. "You've never forgotten what?" my mother asked. Sternly. Sternly means like in a very straightforward way. Like, what did you not forget? Okay, my wallet, he said. "I must have left it in the other jacket. Isn't that the silliest thing to do?" So here, the old man saying, "I did not forget this thing before." So the mother asked, "What is that thing which you did not forget before?" So this person says that, "I did not forget my wallet. I must have left it in the uh, other jacket. Isn't that the silliest thing to do?" He's saying, okay. "Are you asking me to give you money?" my mother said. So she directly goes to the point, like, "Are you asking me to give you money?" So this person says, "Oh, good graciously not," he cried. "Heaven forbid I should ever do that." "Then what are you asking?" my mother said. "Do hurry up, we are getting soaked to the skin here." That means we are soaked, we are fully soaked in the rain. Just tell us quickly what you want. "I know you are," he said, "and that is why I am offering you this umbrella of mine to protect you and to keep forever. If only." So now he says that, "I know you're getting soaked to the skin, you're getting soaked here. That is why I have this umbrella to offer you. Take this umbrella. But," so if only what my mother said. "If only you would give me in return £1 for my taxi fare just to get home." So now he says that, "I want £1 in return for this umbrella." So he's bartering his umbrella for £1. Okay. "If only you give me in return £1 for my taxi fare just to get me home." So he says that, "I want to go home in a taxi. I want £1, but I don't want it for free. Take this umbrella." Okay. My mother was still suspicious. "If you had no money in the first place," she said, "then how did you get here?" So the mother started asking questions. "Okay, fine. You say you don't have money. How did you come all the way from home to this place?" she asked. "I walked," he answered. "Every day I go for a lovely long walk and then I summon a taxi to get home. I do it every day of the year." So he says that every day I come walking and I go by a taxi. Okay? And I do it every day of the year. "Why don't you walk home now?" my mother asked. So the mother was like, "Okay, fine, you came walking now also you go walking home." So he says that, "Oh, I wish I could," he said. "I do wish I could, but I don't think I could manage it on these silly old legs of mine. I've gone too far already. I've gone too far already." So he says that, "My legs are very feeble. I'm tired. I can't walk home back. I need to hire a taxi, but I forgot my wallet." My mother stood there chewing her lower lip. She was beginning to melt a bit. I could see that. And the idea of getting an umbrella to shelter under must have tempted her a good deal. So, like the mother was slowly trying to melt, like she was melting a bit. She was believing in the old man a little bit, okay? And also she was very happy about the deal. That means she's getting a silk umbrella worth £20 by just giving £1 to the old man. Okay, so she was also because she's taking an umbrella to shelter her from the rain. Okay. "It's a lovely umbrella," the little man said. "So I've noticed," my mother said. "It's silk," he said. "I can see that." "Then why don't you take it, madam?" he said. "It cost me over £20, I promise you. But now it's of no importance so long as I can get home and rest these old legs of mine." So he says that, "I just want to go home in a taxi. I want to rest myself. just take this umbrella and give me £1. You know, this is a very costly umbrella. It costed me £20, but I'm just giving it to you for £1 because I seriously want to go home. Okay. I saw my mother's hand feeling for the clasp of her purse. That means she was trying to take out money. She saw me watching her. I was giving her one of my own frosty nosed looks that time, and she knew exactly what I was telling her. So this little girl was seeing her mother. She was telling, "Mommy, don't create drama over here. Just give him £1. He will give you the umbrella. Why do you want to, be more suspicious of it?" Okay. Now listen, Mama, I was telling her, you simply must not take advantage of a tired old man in this way. It's a rotten thing to do. It's not a good thing to do. Don't take advantage of him so much. Don't be so suspicious. He looks like a gentleman, she says. My mother paused and looked back at me. Then she said to the little man, I don't think it's quite right that I should take an umbrella for you worth £20. I think I'd better give you the taxi fare and be done with it. So she says that the child was actually saying that, Mama, don't take the umbrella also because he's an old man, he needs the umbrella and also he has to go home. Just give her the money, the way she was thinking, okay? So the mother now says to the old man, I'll give you £1, go away with your taxi, I don't want your umbrella. So this man says, no, 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 he cried. It's out of the question. I wouldn't dream of it. Not in a million years. I would never accept money from you like that. Take the umbrella, dear lady, and keep the rain off your shoulders. So he says, no, 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 I don't want your money for free. Take this umbrella and give me that £1. My mother gave me a triumphant sideways look. Triumphant is like a winning look. See, I told you wanted to give me an umbrella. You were the one who was, telling no, 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 don't take the umbrella. So she gave a triumphant. Triumphant is winning, okay? My mother gave me a triumphant sideways look. There you are. She was telling me, you're wrong. He wants me to have it. Have it what? Have the umbrella. She fished into her purse and took out a pound note. She held it out to the little man. He took it and handed her the umbrella. So he took the note and gave her the umbrella. He pocketed the pound, raised his hat, gave a quick bow from the waist and said, thank you, madam, thank you. Then he was gone. Come under here and keep dry, darling, my mother said. So they took the umbrella. The person went away saying thank you, and now catching holding the umbrella, the mother says, come under the umbrella, darling. Just stay under the umbrella so that you keep yourself dry from the rain. Aren't we lucky? I've never had a silk umbrella before. I couldn't afford it. So the mother says that, see, don't you think we are lucky? It's already raining, and I never couldn't afford a silk umbrella. Now that I just got it for £1, we are lucky, she says. Okay. So this girl says, why were you so horrid to him in the beginning? I asked. He was a gentleman. I'm very pleased I was able to help him. Okay. This girl asked, why were you so horrid to him in the beginning? I wanted to satisfy, mother says, I wanted to satisfy myself that he wasn't a trickster. And I did. He was a gentleman. I'm very pleased I am able to help him. So the girl asked, why were you so horrid to him in the beginning? Why were you so crude in the way you were talking to that old man? He seemed like a gentleman, no? Is what the girl is saying. Mother says, just to make sure that he's not a trickster. I wanted to make sure that he wasn't a trickster. That is why I spoke in that manner. Okay. And then the mother says, I'm very pleased that he was a gentleman and he gave us this umbrella. Okay. Yes, mommy, I said. A real gentleman, she went on. Well, me too, otherwise he wouldn't have had a silk umbrella. I shouldn't be surprised if he's a titled person, like Sir Harry Goldsworthy or something like that. So his mother was saying, I also don't, it's not very, I also don't know whether to wonder, even if he's a titled person. At least he's wondering whether this person is very wealthy, very rich person, like Sir Goldsworthy or something. Okay. So they were like talking up to each other. The mother and the daughter were talking to each other and telling these things. That person looks like a gentleman. And I also won't be wondered if he turns out to be a titled person. Okay. So today I leave you with this. Tomorrow we'll finish the lesson and we'll do the exercises. But I want you all to just give a pre-reading so that you'll find it easy. Okay? And in the previous chapters, wherever you did not, wherever you have a problem, you can always come back and ask. Okay? I will read. I will stop here. I want you all to read through it again, and tomorrow we'll meet again with the next part of the lesson. Fine? Okay? And also, yeah, and also see these movies by this person, Roald Dahl. He has a lot of books, which he actually scripted a lot of movies also. You can go watch those movies like Charlie and Chocolate Factory, Matilda, BGM, The Witches, so and so. You can just go watch, see the kind of imaginative world he takes into, okay? And try to analyze the author's mind. What is he thinking? What is he trying to, tell in his stories? Okay? So that's it. I'll call it a day for today. Bye.